Alrighty, people. Thursday night football, and it's an exciting one in back-to-back weeks. Last week we had Falcons and Bucks, wasn't it?
Bucks.
This week,
Yeah.
obviously, Seahawks. Okay, not a team of the not a fan of the Seahawks. All right, but we had to rock the JSN jersey. It just came in the mail yesterday. Look at that ish. That's clean, bro. That's clean AF. But if you don't know, we've got JSN in the Flock League. So jersey finally came in. We made the trade after we traded for JSN and got the whole branding, man. The whole team now is branded up. Obviously, team name here is Jesus Christ. It's JSN Born, and we're starting him tonight. No Tyreek Hill this week, so we got to rely on him. Don't know if B-Rob's going to play. Hope he is, but we're going to put JS into the lineup tonight and roll the dice and see what happens. But
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Do us a favor. Go ahead and like the video to show some love. We got a like goal today of 50 likes. With your help, I know we can get there. Anyone you're playing tonight in the Flock League?
Nah, no one in the Flock League for me, so I'm kind of chilling tonight. I don't think Nathan has anyone. I actually haven't looked at the matchup.
Oh, are you playing Nathan this week?
Yeah, I am playing Nathan.
That's funny because I'm playing Avery.
Here we go.
So it's really domain versus
domain
land
versus Fantasyland, yeah. But yeah, I don't think Nathan's struggling with injuries. He had Michael Pittman, Josh Downs is also injured. He has Puka Nacua. Obviously, he traded away Justin Jefferson and Rachaad White. I know he's struggling with injury. I don't know if he's going to play, which I think he will play. But
yeah,
I'm struggling with injury as well. And James Cook is
I
hurt,
hear that, man.
But,
I need Joe Mixon.
But he was participating on the side, apparently. He was participating on the side. If you read the blurb and look to it,
dude, words.
Deeper.
English is hard. They are hard.
But apparently
today, Junior. I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Here's the deal. Here's how it's gonna go. Okay, if you want a question answered and you do plan on donating because you want to answer it straight away, check out our website. It's the pinned comment. There's a link there to our site. And you can ask us a question over there, a start-sit question, a team review, a trade question, whatever you've got going on in your leagues, we can answer it over on the Flock Fantasy website. It'll take you to a site that looks like this. And if you haven't linked up your leagues just yet, you can do so as well. And that makes it very, very easy to go in there and ask us a question. I mean, if you have Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo, it is such an easy process to go ahead and get your team linked and then ask a question through the website. We've got some questions already over here that we're going to start with. I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Of course, if there are super chats, we'll answer those as well. But over here on the website, just a great resource for you guys, a great way to ask us a question. Every stream that we start, it'll be with any questions from the site, and then we'll go to the YouTube chat. And by the way, if you don't have an account yet on Flock, I just put a link in the chat. You can get an account for free. You can get expert consensus rankings, a trade calculator. You can look at your league analyzer, all for free using the promo code LAND at sign up. Okay, let's start with Jay Rule's question here. He says, hey, I need a viable flex after losing Rice. Can you look at my team and my opponents and let me know? Well, this isn't, you've submitted this as a trade question, Jay Rule, so we're not going to have access to your entire league's rosters. That's through the team review section, but we can absolutely look at as much information as you've given us. So it's a redraft, 1 quarterback, 12 teams, start 7, and one side gets Kareem Hunt, Dobbins, and Bowers. The other side gets Godwin and Kittle. And let's see if we can look at any more of the roster. Okay, we can see more of the rosters as well if we wanted to add a name over here. For example, if you can add... Well, let's just start with the original trade. What do you think of the original trade offer? 12 teams, start 7.
So he's getting Chris Godwin and George Kittle.
Yep.
Without any context and not knowing your running back room, no, I want Chris Godwin, George Kittle, because I think right now George Kittle is top 3 tight end, but I think that's definitely going to change with Debo obviously back. He's going to come back and hopefully do something, and Brandon Ayuk now finding his ground. So I personally want the Chris Godwin, George Kittle side without the context here and what his running backs are going to look like. Because if Kareem Hunt and J.K. Dobbins, and you have Kyron Williams who's on by, maybe that's not the best move or something, you know. But
yeah, I think overall
we just gotta wait and look.
Bowers and Kittle. I think you prefer Bowers, but Godwin looks like a locked and loaded top 15 receiver rest of season. Now Kareem Hunt looks like the dude in Kansas City. That's also very valuable, and I think people are kind of like in the middle. I feel like if there's one more Kareem Hunt game where he's getting 20 plus touches, I think people will start to really like value him. But in a start 7, getting Godwin I think is really crucial, so I will choose the Chris Godwin side. If we were to put up a counter for him, like I guess can you counter and add Jacoby Myers to your side? The reason I say that is because Devontae Adams might be traded. Then you have another name that you can start pretty much any week as a flex. So that would be my one counter if you can get it done. But I like the deal overall.
Yeah, I'm okay with the deal as well.
Cool. All right, next question here is from Mr. Green. And a lot of people trying to trade J.K. Dobbins. Redraft Superflex League, 10 teams, start 8. Did this trade last night and traded Olave, Kraft, Dowdle for Achane and Deontay Johnson this morning. Okay, so last night he did this trade where he received Breece Hall, Rachaad White, Brian Thomas. He sent away J.K. Dobbins, Brandon Ayuk, and Travis Etienne. So this really comes down to what is Breece Hall and Travis Etienne going to be rest of the season, in my opinion. Is Breece Hall going to figure it out? I definitely think this is the matchup for him to figure it out this week versus Buffalo. If he doesn't figure it out versus Buffalo, I think people will genuinely start panicking. So, and then Etienne, does he keep the role? Right now, the coaching staff is very confidently saying it's his role. It's going to be Etienne's role. So, what's your thoughts on this one? I really think it comes down to those two names and how they perform rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the other side as well, I'm not a big J.K. Dobbins guy and not a big Travis. Well, not that I'm not a big Travis Etienne guy. What's going to happen with Travis Etienne in his role, which you kind of mentioned briefly. I think also same could be said with Rachaad White. So I think it's a significant upgrade at the running back position. Like you said, Breece Hall is going to take a big step or should take a step forward. And then Brian Thomas Jr. and Brandon Ayuk kind of feel like a knock right now. Like a knockoff. So it just really depends on how you value Rachaad White and J.K. Dobbins. And I still would value Rachaad White because of that passing upside that I hope he's going to continue to get. We just don't really know.
So you would have White over Dobbins the rest of the season in rankings?
It's not by much. It's not by much, but it's not by much, but it's close. Like I don't have a huge argument for White, and I don't have a huge argument for Dobbins. I just rather have Breece Hall and Brian Thomas over the two running backs.
That to me is the reason I'm struggling with this trade, because I personally, my conviction is that losing Dobbins and gaining White is a huge loss for your roster. Number one, I mean, Rachaad White's dealing with an injury. He might not play this week. We'll see. But number two, it's a split backfield entirely in Tampa Bay. It is. And J.K. Dobbins is the dude in Los Angeles, a offense that's completely focused around the run. That's not the case in Tampa Bay. So to me, that is a huge loss for your roster. And I'll say this, if Travis Etienne recovers his form, I think you lost this deal. But if Travis Etienne doesn't recover his form and Breece Hall turns out to, bounce back, I think you will have won it. So it's really one of those which you won't know until about 4 or 5 weeks from now. He also said and traded Olave, Kraft, Dowdle for Achane and Deontay Johnson this morning, which I really like that, getting the Achane and Deontay Johnson side.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well. Another thing I would just want to say for the Breece Hall side really quick is that I'm not sure if you know, but the play calling is no longer Nathaniel Hackett, which I think is pretty big. I'm not saying that is going to change anything, but this is, I guess the first thing I can think of is like when Ken Dorsey was no longer the offensive coordinator for the Bills and they went to, the new offensive coordinator. And James Cook just starting to get the ball more. They started to spread the ball out more. Maybe that is the same thing with Breece Hall. Is Breece Hall going to get the ball more? We hope so. So just another light at the end of the tunnel there. for
Sure.
you, Mr. Green, if you think about that.
Sure. Hey, guys, do us a favor. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. Got a like goal today of 50 likes. I appreciate y'all for being here. We're answering questions all the way up until kickoff. If you want your question guaranteed answered, we'll try our best with all the questions in the chat, but you can get a guaranteed reply via the website. Link is in the pinned comment and in the chat. We got a trade question here from Soothers. All right. And Soothers says, I'm worried about Mason's output and how B-Rob will be able to fit in. So, one quarterback, 12 team, start 7. One side gets Tyreek Hill. The other side gets Jordan Mason and Ladd McConkey. I've been preaching to buy Tyreek Hill for the last 2 weeks. This seems like the ideal trade to go get Tyreek Hill before Tua comes back.
Yeah, I completely agree there. And, hopefully your record is pretty decent. I'm not saying, I just hope your record's good. I think maybe Jordan Mason can help you win this week. Where Tyreek Hill, I feel like maybe can't. But yes, I would agree. Tyreek Hill long term.
So definitely can't.
Yeah, exactly. So, it just really depends on what your record is.
If you were 2 and 3,
yes,
are you not taking this trade? Is that what you're saying? If you're 2 and 3,
it's not that. If I'm 1 and 4, I think I'm struggling to do this trade because I need a win. 2 and 3 is like I'm happy to lose again because I know I can go on a run, right? Yeah. Potentially. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Be careful spamming questions in the chat, y'all. I mean, it makes everyone's experience a little worse if you're spamming your question in the chat. We'll do our best to get to everyone's, but if you're spamming, I'll have to put you in timeout. I don't want to do it. Love the Tyreek Hill side of this, though. Captain Swanky is the next trade here.
Swanky!
And it looks like a 2 quarterback, 10 team, start 9. This might be a dynasty question. Looks like one side gets an early second, Trey Sermon and Braylon Allen. The other side gets Jordan Mason and 2/3. So I guess the question is, do you think Jordan Mason is the future running back for this team? I think he's a replaceable player. Yeah, I don't think I'd pay more than a second for him anyway. I'm not sure I'd even be comfortable paying a second because I believe CMC will come back. So I like the Braylon Allen second side of this deal.
I agree. I like the Braylon Allen second as well. I would say just something to nitpick. I don't want Trey Sermon. I think he's nothing unless you have Jonathan Brooks and you need a running back, sure. But Taylor, honestly, give me another Jonathan Taylor, excuse me. Give me another third. Give me something.
But I think you've already got enough value in like the second and Braylon. I mean, I would have Braylon over Jordan 100%. Mason in my dynasty rankings. So
I completely agree. I'm just saying, like, just so you don't have to get a dead asset, probably maybe by the end of week 7, is like there's no point of having him on your team. Just try and get some more future picks if you can, even if that's in 2027 or whatever the case may be. But I do love the trade side for Braylon Allen in the second.
Sure. All right, we've got another one from here. Let me just refresh the page so it doesn't recycle some of those old questions. This one is from Feely. I appreciate you, Feely. This is a start sit. If you guys haven't checked out the website, definitely go give it a look. If you need a question answered straight away, that's the best way to do it. Obviously, you can super chat as well. We'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can today. All right, this is a 1 quarterback, 12 team, start 7. First fantasy football season ever, they say. Also, who could I give up in a Kyler Murray trade? Thanks, guys. All right, half PPR. Okay, so I'm starting Justin Fields this week versus the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. I'm there with you.
At wide receiver, we're choosing between Garrett Wilson. We'll start Garrett Wilson over those names, right?
Start Garrett Wilson. Yeah, 100% here.
And then at flex, we have Mixon, Wicks, Bigsby, Deontay.
I would say if Mixon plays, I'm playing Mixon.
I agree.
But Deontay Johnson is also, I think, a good option if Joe Mixon doesn't play. But Joe Mixon was participating today.
I know. Have him in the flock league. I would love for him to finally come and help my team out. Yeah, I feel good about this.
I wonder if we can have another option. Maybe it's too complicated. Like, we do so many questions of like, hey, if Joe Mixon plays, we'll slot in Joe Mixon, but like,
almost
we
like
can
an
have
auto
like
sub,
plus,
right?
Yeah, like a plus Deontay if Joe Mixon doesn't play. I wonder if that's a possibility, because I feel like we get so many of those. Maybe that's something we can tell the developers.
Yeah, potentially. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the question. Again, if Joe Mixon doesn't play, you can put Deontay right into your lineup. Thanks for the question. And hopefully you're enjoying your first season of fantasy. All right, we got a question here from Big Old Johnson.
Oh, Big Johnson. Careful.
Yeah, you got a Big John. We've got Lamar Jackson here. Oh, I forgot to answer his question about Kyler Murray. What I was going to say is I just don't feel like you need to trade for Kyler Murray. Being honest with you, I think you can just start Fields. I like 100% transparency. That was genuinely what I was going to say. Don't trade for Kyler. Not that he's not a good quarterback, but you already have Fields. Fields has got rushing upside. He's got a good matchup. Ride it out. I don't think you need to make that trade right now. All right, so for Big Johnson, we've got Lamar Jackson here. We'll start him, obviously. At running back, we're going to be starting Brian Robinson if he plays.
I don't think he participated, did he?
He hasn't participated in practice 2 days in a row.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's going to play, unfortunately.
Well, remember, he didn't practice all last week and still played.
Did he? I thought he did. I thought he practiced like one of the days. I thought he practiced on Thursday last week. Anyways.
Maybe it was limited. I don't remember. But
Brian Robinson for sure, if he plays. And then it will be Travis Etienne for me.
Yes, if he plays, I'll play Etienne. At tight end, we're going to go Brock Bowers. At wide receiver, he's considering Reed. Well, you got to play Debo.
Yeah, you got to play Debo, and I'm playing Reed as well. Yeah, and then at the flex, another thing, I feel like the flex should be above. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
I feel like quarterback should be first, and then running back, and then wide receiver.
Yeah, like it should be flipped. Okay, I get what you're saying. It should just be up because quarterback is always at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe we can leave that suggestion. Out
loud. And then in the flex, for me, this would be Tank Dell.
Okay.
I think it's a toss-up between Tank Dell, Tank Bigsby, and potentially even Mark Andrews, to be honest. Because all these guys have interesting matchups. Obviously, Tank Dell playing the Patriots. Technically, they should really dominate that game. Tank Bigsby against the Bears. And then Mark Andrews against your Washington Commanders, which should be a high-scoring game.
Bears. My bad. Yeah, in London.
So I'm contemplating between those three.
I think in an ideal world, if Brian Robinson doesn't play, you can play both of those Jaguar running backs. But for me, it's actually Dontavion Wicks, assuming that Christian Watson doesn't play. We'll have to wait and see. He is participating. I think he's still 1 week out. But I think you can start Wicks versus the Cardinals this week. He'd be my preference. Still led the team in target share last week. So, yeah, he'd be my preference there. But for Badaki, I think you said Tank Dell would be your preference.
Yeah, I think that will be my guy, but I think you can have the argument for all those other people there for sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We got a trade question here from Booty Clap King. And
Booty Clap.
This might be Dynasty because there's a 4th-round pick involved.
I mean, this seems like a ripoff. This is not real.
This can't be real. Is there any comment when he submitted it?
No.
No comment?
I'm trying to think, like, maybe, like, did he meant to say, like...
Is that supposed to be Justin Jefferson or something?
That's what I'm about to say. Is that supposed to be Justin Jefferson? Because he probably went to type in Justin, he put J, and he saw the first name and clicked it. I didn't add it. It was Gibbs and Reed. It was
Gibbs and Reed with Jahan in the 4th. Okay. So Gibbs, Reed...
Jahan in the 4th for James Cook and Jamar Chase.
And this is a Dynasty League, or is this redraft? Gibbs and Reed.
It says redraft on the bottom.
I think I'm sticking with the Chase side of this deal.
He said this is Dynasty. So Gibbs, Reed. Yeah, I mean, I feel like technically, like, Jahan Dotson in the 4th means nothing. Like, I would agree. Like, I love Gibbs and Reed there, but you tear up at the wide receiver position with Jamar Chase, and with Jahmyr Gibbs and James Cook. I mean, James Cook is not splitting the backfield at all. I think he's a feature for this Bills team.
But I do prefer Gibbs in Dynasty, but it's just that upgrade isn't enough for me to move from Chase to Reed, and that's not to disrespect Reed at all. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chase Cook side myself.
Yeah, I'm there with you as well.
Appreciate you, Booty Clap King. Thanks for submitting that question. I think we have one more on the site. Again, if you guys want to get a guaranteed reply, definitely check out our website. And if you don't have an account yet, you can create a free one with the promo code LAND. All right, well, someone submitted a question, but they've given us no options of any players to decide between. So I don't know how to answer that question. There's no comment. There's no players. Maybe if they're in the chat, they can tell us their lineup, and we can try and help out. They did say, I'm worried about my receivers. Do I need to make a move or ride this out? But there's no, you haven't given us any players to choose from, my friend. Maybe we'll wait and see if anybody's watching and they reply. Emmanuel says, hey guys, I put my deposit in last night for a team review. I haven't received anything. That's something that Flock Fantasy does, my friend. We don't do the underdog thing, but if you've done that with Flock's code, definitely go to the Discord and hit them up. All right, we got some super chats over here. The first one's from Akshay. Says, gave Neighbors McConkey, Bucky got DKT and Addison. What do you think here?
Gave Neighbors McConkey, Bucky got DK T Addison. If this is a bigger league, I want the DKT side. Like if this is like a start 10, start 11, I'll rather have the depth over Neighbors. Okay. But I love Neighbors, and once again, if this is a smaller league, start 7, start 8, I want Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I agree with that analysis there. Larger league will take the depth. Smaller league will take the stars. Want a sandwich says, I posted my players in an earlier chat. Okay, well once we answer those, they kind of go past in streamer mode.
I would just say want a sandwich. I would just say if you can, just so we can make it easier, because all these questions do get lost. If you can just post your team in a comment like you have done it now,
that's fine.
On YouTube, we can then break it down for you on the Flock site since you've donated a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, do that, and then we'll get to your question.
We'll wait for his reply. That's okay. Anytime you guys submit a question, make sure to include the players, right? Just Chrome says best option on defense: Saints, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Tennessee, or Las Vegas.
I mean, I don't really love any of these defenses right now.
Playing.
Atlanta's playing the Panthers. The Bengals are playing the Giants. The Saints are playing the Bucks.
Probably Falcons versus the Panthers.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. Titans versus Tennessee or Las Vegas. So Titans versus the Colts. And I'm not doing the Raiders with the Steelers, so I'm going to go Falcons as well.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Eric, appreciate the donation, man. He says, Kyler, Fields, AR. I guess that's like the first question, if I'm reading this right.
I'm going Kyler. Yeah.
Kyler? Yeah, I agree. Lad, Wicks, Ray Davis, if Cook is out, half PPR. This would be Wicks for me. I don't know who's the running back to play if Cook is out.
I know, exactly. And I thought about picking up Ray Davis or Ty Johnson, but I think I would rather just go with a Justice Hill or an Alexander Madison, because I have no idea what that's going to look like in that backfield. And it's against a tough defense, run defense. So it's I'd rather just try something else. But that's my perspective.
If there's a report that comes out, it's Ray Davis is going to lead the backfield or something, that would definitely make me want to play him over any other name. But I would go Wicks here myself if those are all my options, assuming Christian Watson doesn't play. If he does, then Lad. Have we got a response yet from Wannabe? No, just waiting on him. That's okay. Sir Yeti Jaden Daniels says, start Goddard or Kraft this week. This would be Kraft for me. How about you? Just with all those names coming back from Philly, I just don't know if I can rely on Dallas.
I agree. Give me Tucker Kraft there.
Yeah.
Exit E. Ayuk, Pollard, or Downs at flex. This would be Ayuk for me.
Don't put him in your flex though.
Yeah, don't put him in. Yeah, exactly. Don't put him in your flex.
Reason being is you want the flexibility with all the injury reports, and think about how many things happen last minute, right? I mean, for example, just recently we had Evan Ingram, who was planning to play and then hurt his hamstring out of nowhere. What if that's a wide receiver and you have no wide receiver to put in your wide receiver spot because you played a wide receiver in your flex? So on Thursday Night Football. So if you're playing any players tonight, don't put them in your flex, put them in your positional rankings, right? It doesn't make a difference how the fantasy points are scored. You think through the week and the schedule there. But this would be Ayuk. I don't think you can sit Ayuk. Do love Pollard this week,
agree.
though.
Yeah, Pollard has a great matchup. But yes, I can't sit Ayuk this week. But we appreciate that super chat.
We did get a reply from
Sandwich
Want a Sandwich, and he says at running back he's got Bijan, Kamara, and this is the person who's asked this question through the site, guys. Just so you know, that's why we're looking at this. Bijan, Kamara, Mixon at running back. So let's start there. Well, if Mixon plays,
I mean, maybe we should start the quarterback because that might be that might be tough to figure out here.
Well, you're definitely starting Jayden Daniels at quarterback.
Okay, so Jayden Daniels at quarterback.
Running back,
for sure.
You have Bijan, Kamara, Mixon. If Bijan doesn't play, which I think he will, you can start Mixon. If Mixon doesn't play, then you'll start the other two. At wide receiver, he's got Waddle, Deontay, Godwin. I'm starting Godwin tonight. I'm starting Deontay. And then in your flex spot, that's where we'll put Mixon if he plays. And if Mixon doesn't play, you can put Waddle out there because you have no Kareem Hunt.
Well, Waddle's not playing.
Sorry, that's my bad. Sermon would be the answer there.
Yeah, exactly. Trey Sermon, because Jonathan Taylor's not
playing. There's a chance Sermon doesn't play. So if Sermon doesn't play, you can't start Kareem or Juju. You might have to throw Keon in there.
Yeah, either Keon or Sutton. Maybe Sutton. I was gonna go. Maybe Sutton against the Chargers.
Okay.
Gosh, that's so confusing. I guess you hope that at least all these guys play. Like, you hope that all the running backs play, so that Deontay Johnson and Godwin are just your wide receivers to start, and you can just start the running backs.
To be honest, though, like I will say, for a 14-team league, that's a pretty good lineup. That's pretty impressive what he's put together there.
Yeah, he says he's worried about receivers. Yeah, I mean, you probably are worried about receivers, but like I think you hit it at the running back position, because I don't think you're second questioning who you're starting with those running backs. So you clearly got, from what I'm seeing here, you probably went Bijan. Then you went Waddle.
What you could do next week is package Kareem Hunt and Quentin Johnston or something, an upgrade at wide receiver, or Kareem Hunt and Juju, an upgrade at wide receiver. But I don't think you need to panic right now. It's a start 7. You know, it's like if it was a start 9, I think, all right, who the hell are we going to start? But a start 7, you've got enough. You've got enough to push this out, and you've got so many stars that they can really, really help you. So don't stress out. Don't stress out. You've still got probably one of the better teams in your entire league.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much for that question. We have another question through the site.
Okay. Let's have a look here. Jake Dennis.
This is the Dennis family,
This is the Dennis family.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for using the site here, Dennis family. He says, hey, guys, missed again yesterday. Just trying to get a hang of the website. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for using it. Yeah, we appreciate you.
12 teams, start 7. Position, PPR.
Yeah. At the quarterback position, yes, you are starting Jordan Love. You're also starting Travis Etienne. And then I think we both said we would go Tank over Rachaad White.
Yeah, I would. I'd start both of those guys. I would. I mean, this is the best matchup, and they should both get work. Braylon has a good matchup too, but he just doesn't get the amount of opportunities that Tank is getting right now. But if Etienne's ruled out,
of his opportunities.
If Etienne's ruled out, are you playing Rachaad White or Braylon? Probably Rachaad White, right?
I'm playing Rachaad White just based off then matchup. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I guess like the game script potentially I'm envisioning. At the tight end position, I'm going Jake Ferguson. I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, it's really, really close. It honestly is. Yeah, because I really love the matchup for Kraft, but Ferguson is just so reliable. So I'm gonna go over with Jake Ferguson there as well. At wide receiver, between Adams, who won't play this week, I don't think. So it's Jameson and Amari Cooper, really. I would go Amari Cooper versus Philly.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And then I think once again, I remember, I don't know if you were watching here, Dennis, the Dennis family. I think I said I will start Jameis Winston or Jameson Williams. And I think Zach said Tucker Kraft last time.
Yes, I did say Tucker Kraft, yeah.
I think it all is going to come down to what type of win you need. I think that's what we also mentioned. Like, do you need a high upside play or do you need a safe floor? Because I feel like Jameson, especially playing the Cowboys, should be a high scoring game. The game script with Tucker Kraft, the argument could be the same with the Cardinals, but I'm gonna go Jameson here.
Yeah, my argument against Jameson, who I love, is that he's not a focal point of the offense right now. He's averaging 2.5 targets per game in the last 2 games. I think we're still a little hungover on the first 2 weeks where he was averaging about 9 targets per game. The offense completely changed in the last 2 games, and that concerns me too much. And, you know, yeah, he was good last time out, but he had 2 targets. It's kind of Rashid Shaheed in a way, which is scary. So I just think Kraft is a safer play, and I could be wrong, but that's where my intuition leads me.
All right. And I get it.
Next question here from Fishy. He says CMC equals Mason. Okay. 18-team league, so some deep cuts here after I lost Rice and Cup. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine being in an 18-team league, Badaki, and losing Rashee Rice and Cooper Kupp and having Kyron on bye? That would be struggle street.
Yeah, it's just a GG's, really.
We've got Kyler starting. This is apparently Mason. At tight end, he's got Goddard. At wide receiver, Debo, which is great. JSN tonight. All right, it's a JSN game. I don't really know that. I'm just hoping. It's pure copium and hopium. At flex, is Shakir playing this week?
I don't think he is. He did participate so far. So I think there is a window where he could play since it is a Monday night game. They're probably giving their guys that extra rest. But I haven't seen a report where he's like been participating on the side or anything. He just hasn't been practicing.
Does not practice Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to mention here is that there's potential for Rachaad White to miss a game. And if Rachaad White misses, I think Bucky's the must start of all these names. And to be honest, like, he might be a start regardless.
Yeah, I agree.
If Shakir plays, you can play him. But if Shakir doesn't play, are you just going to throw Polk out there for fun with the first Drake May start? Or are you going to go Adonai because there's no Michael Pittman?
Well, there might be no Michael Pittman or Josh Downs. So I would go Adonai.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If Josh Downs and Michael Pittman don't play, because Josh Downs didn't practice today. So it'll be Shakir and Bucky if Shakira plays and if Rachaad White doesn't play. I think even if Rachaad White plays. If Shakira doesn't play, it will be Bucky if Rachaad White plays and Adonai Mitchell for me.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that exact sentiment. So we're on the same page there. Honestly, for an 18-team league, it's not bad, man.
Not bad.
Especially when you get cut back. I mean, you're probably winning the league if Rice doesn't get hurt. So you should feel comforted in knowing that you have a very good team. Is that all the questions so far?
I think we have Jakey Amos, I think, is the next one. No context here. It's just a redraft, 1 quarterback, 12 teams, start 7. So it's a smaller start. At the quarterback position,
oh no,
it's going to be Geno Smith because there's no Dak Prescott here.
Well, I'm seeing Patrick Mahomes and Geno. Oh, you're saying Patrick Mahomes is on bye. Okay, right.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got to start Geno. And to be honest, like, it's a matchup where he's probably going to need to throw the ball, so that's exciting.
Yeah. You have Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs. That's who you guys are starting. No question. Sam Laporta, AJ Brown, and then at the other wide receiver position, for me, this will be Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah, I think I lean the same way. Want it to be Ladd McConkey, but hate the matchup.
He's going against the Broncos, yeah.
And then we have to flex another name, which would be either Ladd or Dontavion Wicks. And for me, that's Wicks, personally. I just don't like the matchup for Ladd. Assuming Christian Watson doesn't play. If Watson plays, then we'll have to put Ladd out there. But with no Watson, Wicks is the play for me here.
and then that's kind of where I'm leaning. I think I'm gonna go Lad with Watson or without Watson. I'm just gonna start Lad McConkey over Dontavion Wicks.
Oh, you're putting Lad over with? Okay. That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair enough.
it
Yeah,
is a tough matchup.
I
But
just see more upside with
Lad plays in the
Wicks.
slot. Yeah, Lad plays in the slot, and I understand that. Lad plays in the slot. I know they have good secondaries. Surtain's not shouldn't be on Lad. I'm assuming he's going to be on Quinton, but
Yeah.
I know that group as a whole is good, is great.
Yeah, it's a
So
good
I'm
group.
just going to take my chances there with Lad, and it's a divisional game. So
Sure.
yeah,
So
I'm gonna go there.
he'll be sent a time code and he can hear both of our thoughts there. But I believe those are all the questions through the website.
Yeah, I
Which
think
now will let us go to some super chats here. And
I think the next one was Bruce.
yeah, if you haven't checked out our website though, and you do need a question answered and you want to guarantee a reply, definitely check out the link we're putting in the chat there. But go ahead with Bruce here.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Full PPR need to Tober, McConkey, Wilson, Moody, or Downs. Well, it's going to be Garrett Wilson, and for me, this would be Moody, as in like Jake Moody, the kicker.
Wait, yeah. Can you flex kickers?
Who's Moody? Who's Moody? Moody. Who did he say? Like
Mooney?
who would he?
Mooney would make sense.
Oh,
Darnell
Darnell
Mooney?
Mooney. Oh yeah, give me Wilson and Mooney.
Yeah, if that is Mooney, it can't be Moody because first off, you can't flex a kicker, and Moody isn't going to play this week. There's no way it's Moody. So it's probably Garrett Wilson
Mooney.
and Darnell Mooney.
And Darnell Mooney. Yeah, I agree. Those are the
and
two I would
if
go.
that is Moody, then Garrett Wilson and Downs, if he plays and Flacco plays, if A-Rich plays, then it's Moody.
I think A-Rich
then
is
it's
gearing
Wilson
to play,
and
by the
Tolbert.
way.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's Wilson. And I think A-Rich is gearing to play.
Yeah, I think so too. Just wanted to give
which
him
is great
full context there.
Yeah, I understand. Joel, thank you so much for the super chat. He says bench one DK, Martin Harrison, T Higgins, CD locked in, full PPR. My goodness.
Jeez Louise. This is, I mean, Joel, you know us very well. This is a flip of the coin. I don't think you sit DK. I don't think you sit Marv, so I guess T Higgins is the answer, but I want to play T where I have him. I just think you have better options.
I agree. I don't know how this works.
You might be benefiting from some consolidation there, Joel. If you can package,
I would. Mm-hmm.
If you can package Higgins and a different running back to get an upgrade there, then I think that might really benefit your roster.
The only thing I would say, Joel, I think I would start. Was crazy to say this. I would sit Martin Harrison, even though I don't want to, just because I know he's going to be against Jair Alexander. That's going to be tough. Xavier Worthy in the secondary, he's been leading the league in, I think, interceptions, in safeties. But in T Higgins, I know my secondary.
Xavier
He's going to
Worthy's
score
playing
points.
safety. McKinney, right?
Xavier McKinney. Sorry, yeah. My names are mixing up today. But yes, T Higgins is playing the Giants secondary, which I know they're going to score.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
T.
more
Higgins is
worried
gonna
that
get the
T.
ball.
Higgins won't be needed as much as Marvin is, and Green Bay is a top 8 matchup for wide receivers when you adjust for schedule. So I would still play Marvin personally, but
I get it. And I get it. Just to give you maybe a different rationale, maybe he was thinking. So for me, it's DK, T. Higgins, and CD. And for Zach, is DK, Martin Harrison, and CD.
Which,
Appreciate
again,
you.
I'd be looking to consolidate whatever value I can there. C Posts, appreciate you. Do I start Geno or Fields this week? It would be Fields for me. Now, you have to be aware that last week people came on the channel and was like, do I start Kirk Cousins? And I thought they had better options. You know, they had names like Kyler Murray. They had names like Baker Mayfield, for example. And then Kirk Cousins goes out and throws 500 yards and like 4 touchdowns. So you have to be aware that anything can happen on Thursday night. But if I had Fields as an option, I just prefer that matchup. And I prefer his rushing floor.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Start Gino there. 369, appreciate you. He says, flex JSN or Wicks. Also, I think we would both go JSN there over Wicks. Am I wrong?
Well, because I don't know if Watson plays, I think you have to put JSN out there.
Okay.
But if I knew Watson was out, I would prefer Wicks.
Okay, that's fair.
Although,
he said,
obviously, I'm wearing the Jason jersey, so we got a lot of hopium right now.
Hopium.
That Jason will go off tonight, so that would be great. I keep having important players on Thursday night, and I hate it. Godwin last week didn't perform that well. The week before, what was the game before last week? Was it Giants? I don't remember anyway. Okay, doesn't matter.
The game before last week, Thursday night? Oh, no idea.
K3 is the next super chat.
Well,
Says,
we didn't answer the second part of his question. Sorry. He
Go
says,
ahead.
also, would y'all trade Devonta Smith for Reek? I think we both would. Or trade Garrett Wilson for Tyreek. I think we both would do either of those.
I do either of them, but I prefer to send Smith.
Agreed.
Cool. All right. K3 here says traded Cook Kraft for Derrick Henry. I think he cooked.
Let him cook. Yes, chef.
I mean, James Cook is going to be a very good rest of season still. I think I prefer Derrick Henry, but I think he and James Cook would be in a similar tier. So it actually does depend on your tight end position. Like if you traded away Kraft and now you're relying on Cole Kmet or something, I don't really like that. But
yeah.
Overall, I'm happy with.
I'm interested in Kraft in the sense of like I'm on two sides. Like I can see him keeping this role, but I can also see him losing that role because there was no Christian Watson in one of those games. There was no Christian Watson and Dobbs. So I'm not saying that he's not going to be this guy, but just thinking out loud. And Luke Musgrave is injured and he's going on IR, so that's even more of an argument for him. But I think he can then get faded out if all those guys are healthy and on the field. Even Wicks, right? Wicks can take his opportunities away from him. So I still want Derrick Henry though.
Yeah. I get you. I get you for sure.
Heisenberg, thank you so much for the super chat. He says start Geno or Anthony Richardson. I think Rich bounced back. What do you think?
Dude, if you're predicting that and you got a gut feeling, I always say this to people. If you've got a gut feeling and you want to go out and bet on that, then I get it. But it's not a matchup I would bet on. This is a tough matchup versus Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee is giving up, I think, 111 passing yards per game. They give up the fewest passing yards per game through 5 weeks. It's lockdown city in Tennessee right now with the addition of L'Jarius Sneed. So the issue here is no Michael Pittman confirmed. Potentially no Josh Downs. No Jonathan Taylor confirmed. Well, most likely. In a terrible matchup, I don't have the gonads to put Richardson out there. I'd start Geno, personally. I think it's a safer floor. But, of course, we know that Anthony Richardson can rush for 2 touchdowns any game. It's just, I don't know, man. I got to start Geno.
I agree. I'm going to start Geno. But, yeah, I think there's a lot going against Anthony Richardson. And no thank you. What do you think? Yeah. Downward Incline, appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says Chuba Hubbard or Brian Thomas for the flex this week. Man, that's a great question.
I can tell you why. I got a lot of confidence in saying that because love Brian Thomas was one of my starts of the week last week. Was actually my hot take of the week on the video that we release every week, and it hit, which is great. Don't always hit, but Chuba Hubbard is just the safest play right now. I'm so annoyed that I dropped him in the Flock League. I feel like an absolute idiot. But he's a incredibly safe play right now. The RB7 on the year, getting so many touches per game. The Falcons are a terrible matchup, definitely. But we've already seen him, get a healthy amount of carries, a healthy amount of targets. He is pretty much the funnel of this offense. And Brian Thomas's matchup just gives me bubble guts. The Chicago Bears are the 3rd worst matchup for your wide receiver. The Colts are Swiss cheese. The Bears are lockdown. I just don't want to rely on that. I mean, look, if Brian Thomas had a Tua that's reliable, if he had a Mahomes, if he was attached to a name like Brock Purdy or, just like a reliable name that's consistent through every week, he doesn't. He has a name like Trevor who is inconsistent and on any week can melt down if we're honest. So I just don't like the idea of the matchup. Don't like the idea of relying on Trevor in a bad matchup. Don't like the idea of them traveling overseas internationally. And by the way, they haven't flown yet to London because of the hurricane. So they're gonna fly, but they're like 3 days later than the Bears, who are already in London preparing for the game. So I just don't want to play Brian Thomas if I have a better option this week.
That's just poor management from management staff of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know that your team needs to go and practice, and
right?
you lock your team down in Florida. Get your ass up. Get
Well,
out. You
who
knew that
made
shit was
that
coming
decision?
for weeks.
You know what I mean?
I know. That's like Tampa. The Bucks Ben went to Georgia, or not Georgia. They went to New Orleans already for like a week.
Yeah.
Because they knew they were going to be, the storm was going to mess up. By the way, I hope y'all safe over there in Tampa.
Oh yeah, for real.
Whoever lives out there, I hope your families and houses and all that stuff is going okay. But yeah, I think that was just poor management by the Jaguars management team or logistics.
Yeah, I agree. So,
anyways,
do you have a different opinion on that, or kind of?
No, I'm with you.
Okay.
Chuba Hubbard, I feel the same. There you go. He's getting it. But I can understand why you want to start Brian Thomas Jr. Why it's going to be tough to sit him. He had 2 back-to-back good games, 2 back-to-back games where he does score. 2 back-to-back games where, well, 1 game where he played against Derek Stingley and he does score on him. Obviously, the Colts don't have a terrible secondary, so I can see it and why that is a question. So yes, I understand.
All right, we got a super chat here from Mario Concilio. I'm saying that wrong. Sorry. Trade offer. I was offered Neighbors. That is Mario. Yeah. Okay.
That's
trade
offer.
offer.
Happens to me as well.
I was offered Neighbors Allen for Lamb Daniels. What do you guys think I should do? Neighbors and Josh Allen for Lamb and Josh Daniels. I think I'm taking the CeeDee Lamb side of this deal.
I was offered Neighbors, Josh Allen for CeeDee Lamb and Daniels. What do you think, or what should I do? I think that's a wash, personally.
Yeah. I agree, and this is gonna sound crazy. I'm looking for the upgrade at quarterback then, and I think that's Jaden Daniels. Bro, yeah, Josh Allen is not safe anymore. Like, he still can be the quarterback 1 this year, but he will have more bust games this year than he's ever had. It's just true.
No, for sure, and I think it's been. Yeah,
and so will Jaden Daniels. He is a rookie.
Yeah, I think and that's kind of where I was leading. Like, I think Josh Allen floor is still safe. Where I think unless like Jaden Daniels just has like a CJ Stroud type of season, which that's kind of where he's trending to.
I don't see why he wouldn't at this point.
But like you said, like I think anything can happen with Daniels, where either something turns around or hasn't been that good of a matchup. Sure.
How close do you reckon these guys are? Don't look. If you were, the reason we like both of these guys is because they're so active on the ground. Great rushers, scoring rushing touchdowns. Let me ask you 2 questions. First one is, how many rushing attempts per game do you think each of these guys have right now? Rushing attempts per game for Daniels and Josh Allen.
Rushing attempts per game, I would say more than 6 to 8. Does that sound like too much?
That sounds reasonable. Jaden Daniels has 11.5 rushing attempts per game through 5. Josh Allen's at 5.2. Josh Allen is rushing the ball 5 times per game. And if you look at rushing touchdowns, Daniels has already doubled Josh Allen. So the concern for me is like the identity of this team has completely changed. They're rushing the ball a lot more, but not with Josh Allen. Their defense is playing well.
Yeah, because James Cook carries the ball for 5 yards per carry. Just give him the fucking ball. Sorry.
James Cook is great. Their defense is just, it's kind of like Kansas City. They kind of made that change without Diggs because quite frankly, it looked like they need Diggs. I'm not going to lie to you, but they just don't have a wide receiver like that anymore. So, all right. Next question is from Jonathan. It says Tolbert or Michael Wilson if Jari plays. This would be Tolbert for me regardless.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I love Tolbert this week as a flex. Michael, what's up? He says, should I start Stroud, Brock, Geno, start 2? Let's start there with Stroud, Brock, and Geno. It's probably Geno as a sit, right? He's a good play, but of those names,
Where are they playing? Are they playing in Seattle tonight? Yeah, I
It
want
is in
Geno
Seattle.
tonight. I want
Okay.
Geno tonight over Brock, and so for me it will be Stroud and Geno. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, I can understand the
And
rationale.
and sorry, continue.
No, I was just gonna give my answer. I would be sitting Geno. Love him. They throw the ball a lot, but that
Exactly.
offense in San
Exactly.
Francisco is just full of superstars. I just can't sit those other two names, but I could
Yeah,
see it going
and
either way.
that's kind of where I was going. Like, I think Geno. I think if I'm not mistaken, he has the most attempts in the league right now. That's kind of where I would go with Geno. I think. Let me just triple check that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's thrown the ball the most out of anyone in the league. So I kind of want that. That means this offense is passing the ball. And that's where I want on my team here. So hopefully that helps. And then start two, it says Ayuk, Wilson, Adam Smith, J.K. Dobbins. Start 2-1 flex. So start 3 out of 3 players here. So Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, and Devonta Smith.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I want to start Dobbins if he's my best option, but he's not your best option there. All right,
I'm Dobbins.
shout out to Rock Out with your cock out, right? He says Purdy or
Just rock out.
Fields. This is where I would go Justin Fields this week. It is close, but I just prefer that matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders. They're already a great matchup versus quarterbacks, and then they just lost Christian Wilkins to a foot injury, one of their best defensive players. So this would be Justin Fields for me with that rushing floor.
Yeah, it's really close. I think we had this question the other day, where it was Justin Fields and Brock Purdy. And I think I said that Brock Purdy here. This is where I would want Brock Purdy. I hate starting my quarterbacks on Thursday night, but I think this should be a high-scoring game. Thinking about game script, I was kind of hoping that with Justin Fields and the Cowboys, and he just didn't really show that because the Cowboys do give up a lot of points points to the running back position, and they didn't really have anyone. I thought Justin Fields was going to rush a little bit more, but what he's doing is staying in the pocket. So
Well,
give me Brock Purdy.
Justin Fields
not all the time.
outscored Purdy last week playing Dallas when Purdy played Arizona. So I think it's close.
Yeah, I get it.
I
I
just
get it.
prefer the matchup more for Justin. Julius says start 2, Tank McBride, Olave Downs. Well, Trey McBride has to be started. I don't trust Olave with a new quarterback. I don't trust Downs with a Rich. I still think I put Olave out there over Tank though. This is McBride and Olave for me. I'm not anti Tank Dell. I'm at the point where I don't think it's unfair to say need to see it, Tank. Need to see it. And
Yeah,
you know,
I
we
understand.
remember last year we saw games where Nico was out and Tank was good, but also a name like Noah Brown would go off every once in a week. What if that's Xavier Hutchinson this week? I mean, last week he was playing over Tank in snaps. And I actually was watching Matt Harmon, who I highly respect this week, and saying, because he's
specifically.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you said this week. I was like, oh, you only respect him for this week?
No, of course I respect him always. He's one of the best in the industry. But he was mentioning watching Tank Dell's film, and he's like, you know, it's just not the same player as it was last year right now. And a lot of that has to do with the injury. If you remember, it's the same injury that Tony Pollard dealt with back when he was a Cowboy. And when he came back, he wasn't the same player till about week 11 of the season. So, in his opinion, not mine, Tank Dell is still struggling to come back from that injury and be the same player he was. Add that with the fact that I have no evidence he's a good start this year. He's a wide receiver 72. It would be McBride and Olave for me.
Not ideal. Yeah, not.
Last thing I want to say is real quick, is Olave has a good matchup versus the Bucks. That goes for him as well in this decision for me.
I agree. Look, I'm not. I can't say that I have an argument for Tank. I think the opportunity for him is there, but Olave, especially with obviously Spencer Rattler is going to say this because Olave is the #1 wide receiver, but he's like, yeah, I want to get him the ball. And maybe that's the emphasis here this week. And Spencer Rattler does have that arm, even though he makes terrible decisions. In my opinion, He has an arm to get the ball down to Olave, which is exciting. And with potentially Rashid Shaheed not playing, even though he was limited today, that might be even more of a reason why you should be starting Chris Olave today.
Sure.
But appreciate you. Thank you so much there. Julius K3 with a super chat is next. It says 12 team have Laporta, hoping he remains how to play, or he remembers how to play.
Well, that's another interesting one. You look at AS, which is average separation score over on fantasy points data. Laporta is getting open at an alarmingly low rate on his routes, which doesn't make any sense. He didn't deal with any injuries this offseason.
That's what I'm saying. Was he getting open last year? What was that number last year?
Last year it was pretty high number. He was towards top 5, top 10, but
right. Okay. I guess no one thought of him as a threat because he was a rookie last year.
Yeah. You didn't draft him in the 2nd or 3rd round last year.
Yeah, exactly. Squad is Baker, Henry, Connor, JJ, Marlon Harrison, Godwin. I don't know what SL means. Are the main guys. I got AR2 just.
Yeah. I don't know who SL would be.
I don't know who SL.
It's probably obvious, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Right. Well, look.
Yeah. So you're playing Baker. Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's good there in this lineup. It's a
good squad, man. Really is. Sam Laporta, right?
Oh, Sam Laporta.
I knew it would be obvious.
Stupid.
Look.
Stupid.
This is a good roster. Baker, Henry, Connor, Jefferson, Marvin, Godwin, Laporta. That's a really, really good roster. If I had A-Rich and there was a chance to sell him for anything, I'd be willing to package him with some would you package Anthony Richardson and Laporta to go get Brock Bowers?
Sure.
I would.
Let's do it.
Would you do it for McBride?
Yeah.
I would too. So it's not that Laporta won't be great and he won't have good games, but the consistency clearly won't be there. And something that people didn't talk about enough is the fact that Laporta, a very heavy percentage of his fantasy points last year came from touchdowns. Touchdowns are the least reliable stat to rely on from one year to the next. There's always volatility there. Whereas with Brock Bowers, he's the offense. Rock Out With Your Cock Out is back and says, risky trade offer, Ken Evans for Chase. Ken Walker and Mike Evans. I'm just keeping Ken Walker and Mike Evans. Love Chase, but that's too much of a price to pay for me.
Omar, happy PR. Choose one. Tolbert, really, Hopkins. It's going to be Tolbert, but really is an interesting matchup.
So funny.
He has a great matchup this week.
That's what I was about to say. Is Ridley's matchup is about as good as it could be.
Yeah,
right.
It is. And coach said that he was going to make an effort to get him the ball.
Yeah. And
I get it.
This team, one of the reasons I was so excited to play Brian Thomas last week versus the Colts is because this team runs cover 3 schemes more than any other team in the NFL. And that's where Brian Thomas dominated. The previous year for the Jags, Calvin Ridley dominated in that role. It's everything is set up for Calvin to smash, and I still have no confidence. If you have Calvin Ridley, there will not be a better matchup this entire year. And I still struggled to put him out there.
Yeah, I agree. I still struggle to put him out there as well, but this should be a good matchup. I think there's some good things from Callahan coming out saying that he's going to get him the ball. Is that going to be true? This is going to be a good game to see. I just want to see maybe he doesn't have to score. He doesn't have to go crazy. I want him to get at least, 6 to 5 targets for maybe 8 fantasy points. Then that's an improvement.
This is the issue because he'll get 9 targets, but 4 of them will be catchable.
Yeah, well,
it's like
if Will Levis plays or Mason Rudolph.
They said Levis is their starter if he plays, and he's been practicing. So, anyway, why are we talking about him? Right, because of the Omar question. Yeah, I'll go Tolbert. It's close.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey guys, to clarify, in case it needs clarification, you can see some people are donating their hard-earned money to hear our thoughts, and if people are going to do that, of course we're going to prioritize their questions. We appreciate everybody who does do that. It's not a requirement, but of course, if they're going to decide to do that, we'll answer their questions, and that's what we're doing right now. Nino is the next question here. It says Geno tonight or Danny Dimes versus Cincinnati.
Come on, talk it up. At home? It's Geno Smith.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Geno Smith.
I thought you were getting excited for Daniel Jones as a Giants fan.
I mean, I'm pumped for Danny Dimes the way he's been playing.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the numbers? Phenomenal. And you saw that game last week without Malik Nabers? Phenomenal. But it's Geno Smith.
This is what's that meme where the Giants like it's a rotating, it's like a cycle, you know? It's like get hope, he plays well, he goes to shit. Get hope, he plays well, goes to shit. You're in the he plays well cycle right now.
Daniel Jones has since outside of week 1, he's played great.
You're proving my point though. But
No, that's not proving that's consistency. That's just if I get if it was week 1 and then week 2 where like week 1 he did bad, week 2 he did good, week 3 he did bad. No, it was.
I mean, guys, this is a man
It's
who
4 games
before the season is consistently telling me he hates Daniel Jones.
I didn't hate him. I just don't think he's the answer. I don't hate Daniel Jones. I never said I hate Daniel Jones. Have I said that? I've never said that.
I've never spoken kindly on him.
No, I haven't. But doesn't mean I hate him.
Okay, well, it's a little bit of hyperbole, but all right. Geno Smith is the answer for both of us. We got a question here from Melissa. Should I trade away Debo for Adams? I still prefer Debo over Adams right now with his situation being unknown.
I agree.
Or
even
JT
if he goes,
for Achane?
Yeah, I want Debo and then give me Devon.
Yeah, it's close.
But even if Adam goes to the Jets, I still want Debo Samuel.
How do you view JT rest of season? Are you excited to play him, roster him?
No. No.
Would you rather do like Brian Robinson and Deontay or JT, just as an example?
Wait, Brian Robinson
and Deontay Johnson, or like JT as an example.
No, give me Brian Robinson and JT.
Well, you can't get both of them. I'm saying in that hypothetical scenario, Brian Robinson and Deontay or Jonathan Taylor.
Right. Yeah, I guess I just want the other guys.
Brian Robinson and Deontay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It makes sense. Just thinking hypothetically.
I just think like, I mean, guys, if you haven't been with us and you're new here and we keep talking about this, it's just because we weren't big, I guess, Colts overall believers. Not that we didn't believe in them as a talent. It's just that the person that is leading that team and Anthony Richardson can't distribute the ball to these players. And we've saw that with Joe Flacco, and we've seen Jonathan Taylor get vultured opportunities from Anthony Richardson in the first 2 games, and then he had a big game. But even then, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough with him. All right, we've got another super chat here from Maurice. Danny Dimes or Fields? Flex one, Keenan or Braylon? Let's start with the first one. This would be Justin Fields for me.
Yeah. Excuse me, it'll be Justin Fields for me as well. I don't think, look, guys, I'm a Daniel Jones fan, but I'm not starting Daniel Jones over any of those guys. Now, if you're telling me Daniel Jones or like Trevor Lawrence, maybe I'll be interested, but it has to be really low here.
Keenan, Downs, and Braylon. I think Downs is a play if he plays, and that's kind of like regardless of quarterback situation. But if Down doesn't play, I'm probably just going to put Keenan out there and hope for the best.
I agree. Joshua, imagine the new play caller just says, F you, Breece Hall, we're going with Braylon. Fucking mental.
Bro, I was doing research for a video this week and just looking at like the most efficient running backs, players who are underperforming. And if you look at running backs who have had at least, let's say, 40 carries this year, where do you think Breece Hall ranks, like, in yards per carry?
I think he's been pretty bad, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know where he ranks. I would think off the top of my head, at least minimum top 10 to 15.
And that's where you think he would be?
Yeah.
Let's do the exercise right now. Okay, so I've put a qualifier in here. At least 40 attempts in this qualifier. Breece Hall is last. He's dead last. He's been less efficient
Zamir White
than
got more.
Najee Harris,
Yeah.
Zamir White. It's crazy. What is happening in New York?
The offensive line maybe is not as good, or maybe Brees
Well,
is just.
Braylon's not last, is he? But I know like he comes in for support.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah. Joshua, thank you so much for the super chat. It says Dobbins, Chase, or Bigsby, Daniel Jones, or Allen. Oh my gosh. Come on, guys. Dobbins, Chase, or Bigsby.
I was gonna say this is Chase Brown if Zach Moss doesn't play. If Zach Moss does play, I'll put Dobbins in there. And then if Travis Etienne doesn't play, Bigsby is the best play, but I think Etienne plays, so probably Dobbins.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Jones or Allen, we'll go Josh Allen there. And
there we go, Josh Allen.
It's not a crazy question because the matchup is really bad for Josh this week.
Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. Jonathan, thank you so much. Got by start 2, Dottle, Madison if White is out. Sermon if Taylor's out. So you're starting Trey Sermon if Sermon plays. If Sermon doesn't play, gosh, I don't want to start any of these guys, Dottle or Madison. I think there's new hope with Madison because of Aiden O'Connell in a weird way, but he's playing the Steelers. I'm just going to go the guy in the better offense, and that's Dottle. But he's playing one of the best run defenses right now.
Yeah. I think, yeah. It kind of has to be Dowdle Sermon.
Yeah, Raiders play at home too, which also, I don't know. I always like when team plays at home. It's normally like a good plus. They want to play good in front of the fans.
Funnily
it's a home game.
enough as well, like none of these guys have a good matchup. I just think it's Dowdle and Sermon.
You just have to go with the guy. Then that's why I result to the guy in the best offense. So Sermon, because he's getting all the opportunity, and if he doesn't play, it's going to be Dotto because he's in the better offense over Madison.
Yeah.
And then he says, apologies goes to the tough and disgusting questions. No, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
Say sorry. We have a question on the website though, so let's get to that real quick. If you guys do want a guaranteed reply to your question, then definitely check out our website. It's the pinned comment in the chat, and I'll also paste it in there for you as well. We got a trade question here from Annie. And it's a 1 quarterback 10 team start 7. What do you think of this trade that was proposed to me? I'm 0-5. He might be open to trade Olave. So,
okay, so you're 0-5.
This is someone trying to take advantage of you, clearly. Like, respectfully, if you add Rome Odunze, great. Doesn't matter. It's not going to help you at 0-5. This is someone who's looking at your team. They say that person's 0-5. They're going to get desperate to make a move and trade someone. Right now, your lineup is probably better with Gibbs and Deontay than Bijan and Odunze. Like, how do you start Odunze in a 10-team start 7? He's not startable right now.
Nah, you can. But, I mean, if you look at his team, it's not the strongest, respectfully. I mean, Sam Darnold, your running backs are Sermon, Brian Robinson.
Yeah,
Brian Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs.
We had this team on the stream yesterday, and I remember their team not being good, but I just don't think this helps them.
Nah,
and it is their first year in fantasy, so they're kind of still trying to find their way and figure out everything. But
you would do Bijan and Jake Ferguson. If it's not Rome Odunze, who needs to be added to this trade?
Yeah, we need an actual reliable flex, like a JSN before tonight or something.
We should do that for Wandale.
Do they have Wandale? They don't have Wandale.
Oh, no, they don't have one. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong side.
Well, if they... Olave is not going to help an 0-5 team right now, is he? But...
No, he's not.
And Kareem Hunt won't help because he's on bye. But, look, if you add Olave and you send them... See, like, Wandale and Tolbert are fine starts for them. No, that doesn't make sense for this team.
Nah, it doesn't. I mean, it's crazy that your team is not terrible. I mean, you have Baker at the quarterback position. You have Joe Mixon, who struggled with that injury, which sucks. Kenneth Walker, who also missed games. Then you have Chris Olave, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. And then at the tight end position, you have Brock Bowers.
So I don't add Wicks to this deal and try and get JSN.
Add Wicks and get Jackson
Or
Smith.
if you can get Olave, then I think that's enough for me to put it over. Sending Wicks and getting Olave back. Otherwise, I'm holding.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I get it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. We're gonna go back to the super chats here, and I think the next person was Nino. Thank you so much, Nino Pena. He says traded Kamara and Higgins for Saquon and Tank Dell. I just want Kamara and Higgins. Like you're arguably getting the RB1, sending away the RB2, RB1A, RB1B, and you're just upgrading at the wide receiver position with Higgins. So I wouldn't want that trade for Tank Dell.
I agree.
So yeah.
I'm there with
Hopefully
you.
that helps.
Easy Vanya.
Dutch Vidania.
1, 2 in the flex.
Wide
Okay, I guess it's like
one.
wide receiver 1, 2, and a flex, so 3 names.
So
is
three.
Is what it
three
is
names.
Here. Deontay,
Sure,
Myers,
3 names
Downs, McLaurin, Shaheed, Bigsby. You're starting Deontay. You're starting Terry. And at flex, I don't know if Jacoby plays.
I would go Bigsby. I think I'm going to go Bigsby over Downs, over Myers, and over Shaheed this week, actually.
So there's a lot of context here.
Sure.
If Etienne doesn't play, yes, Bigsby. But if Etienne plays and Myers does, I'd rather have Myers with no Adams. If Etienne plays and Josh Downs plays with Joe Flacco, I'd rather start Josh Downs. But not if Flacco's not playing, which is what it's trending towards.
Is there a different offensive coordinator? I can't remember if they changed offensive coordinators for the Raiders.
In season?
No, last year.
Oh.
I think they did. Because I was just thinking of the offensive coordinator loved to target Jacoby Myers last year. Remember how Jacoby Myers was like a top 20 guy
Myers
early?
Was a top 30 play last year, which was crazy. But last week without Adams, he had 9 targets.
Adams. Yeah.
So
yeah. And Aiden O'Connell comes in, who he favored as well early when he came in and started as well. So I understand. And then Eagles or Jets, I'm going Eagles defense against the Browns this week.
Yeah, I agree. Chilled Minds here, thanks for the donation, says Flowers, Olave, Brian Thomas, and Chase Brown for Amon-Ra and Shakir. Flowers, Olave,
Brian Thomas, Chase
Flowers, Olave, Brian Thomas, and Chase Brown for Amon-Ra and Shakir.
My wide receivers would be Wilson, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Shakir, Waddle, and more 10-man league.
It's a 10-man.
How many starts?
I think I do convert the depth into a star there.
Exactly. And take a Amon-Ra. If this is like a star 11, I think you want Flowers, Olave, Brian Thomas. But if this is a star 7, star 8, yeah, give us a Amon-Ra. Yeah, give us a Amon-Ra there. Thank you so much for that super chat here. Tapman, guys, we'll most likely be live to when? Top of the hour, maybe?
Yeah, let's say 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes here. So if you have any pressing questions for tonight on Thursday night for the 49ers, the Seahawks games, please get them through either on the website or on the super chat. But if not, we'll be live until top of the hour.
And we'll be trying to get to the non-super chats. It just depends if we have time, obviously. Oh my God, I just saw a tweet of Sean Payton talking about Marvin Mims. I can't deal with it.
Come on, baby.
It means nothing. Tapman1212, Mix or T at the flex. Mix may not be 100%. I think if Mixon's playing, I'm putting him out there. They've also obviously been cautious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I agree.
think if he's playing, I'm going to start him.
I don't think it's a bad move, though. I understand, Tapman. I would say, actually, if you want to sit Mixon, I wouldn't be upset for T because, once again, playing my Giants, T. Higgins is going to get the ball. And I actually think we are just we can move the ball. Can we score? Probably not, but I think T. Higgins is going to get a lot of those opportunities on
Feeling
Sunday
nicey
night.
in this jersey right now, thinking about Thursday night football. All right. no more paid questions. So let's try and go through some of these other questions.
Got me feeling nice.
I love John
Yeah, go
Gruden
for it.
right now, man.
Yeah, guys, you guys watch the John Gruden stuff, by the way? I think it's hilarious.
John Gruden is great. The first question that I can see at the top that is non-super chat is from Alex. Says, also wondering JSN or Wicks. I will go JSN tonight.
Agreed.
Without knowing if Watson's going to play or not. We did get a super chat here from Anthony, who says, start two, Brian Thomas, JSN, Marvin. Thinking of a big game for JSN. Well,
yeah,
see, this is an interesting scenario because I don't want to play Brian Thomas if I can help it versus the Bears. So I think I would play JSN over Brian, but they're like back-to-back in my rankings. It's such a close call. Brian Thomas is one target away from a huge game. JSN needs a lot of targets, but I just hate that matchup versus Chicago. Like, where do you lean there?
I do lean. Look, I think we have to also take in the context. I'm going to go Brian Thomas and Marlon Harrison Jr.
Okay.
Only because last week, the reason why Jackson Smith and Jigba even got double-digit points was a garbage time touchdown. It was like in the fourth quarter, the last 2-minute drive, where the Seahawks were trying to get down. So if he didn't have that, he'd probably have like a 5-point game, which would have been really frustrating. And then questioning everyone to start JSN today. But I'm gonna go Brian Thomas just based off of, what we've seen the past 2 weeks so far.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. Yeah, I just hate the matchup. Hate the matchup for him.
And I understand. And it's tough.
I see a scenario where they need Jason tonight.
Yeah.
Safe and sound with the donation here says pick 2, Harris, White, Mixon. I know a bad group. It's not a bad group. It is outside of Mixon. My bad.
Not a bad group.
Look, if Mixon plays, you definitely play him, and I would probably sit White. But really don't like the other options. I would say in order, if Mixon plays, it's Mixon, Harrison, White for me this week.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. It's tough to go to the top because I don't even know if those people who asked those questions at the beginning of the stream are even here.
Yeah, sometimes I just feel bad.
I know.
I feel bad because some people do stay just to to watch because they like it, and if there is a question, be like, oh, my question could potentially be answered. But
yeah, let's look at Schlokes here. We'll try and go in order. Ayuk or McLaurin. I'm gonna go. I'd actually start Terry this week, but I do love Ayuk. I really do.
I'll go Ayuk.
Someone said, "Why is my concussed star receiver going to a Travis Scott concert? Is Malik Neighbors at a Travis Scott concert right now or something?"
Yeah, that was last night. But I think once again,
that is a strange activity when you're out with a concussion.
Which makes me believe he should be fine because today he didn't do a full workout. He participated on the side. He just didn't actually practice. So I think we need to read the lines and read between the lines and know the details. But yes, do I want him to go to a Travis Scott concert when he's concussed? Probably not. It's probably the worst thing to go to, all the fucking flashing lights.
Yeah.
But he did participate on the side, which makes me believe that he's most likely going to play if he practices tomorrow.
I could desperately use him right now in my leagues, so that would be fantastic. Jalen Coker to the moon. I mean, he's a fine stash. Let's see what happens. Miles Morales says trade Cooper Kupp for Moss, Hunt, and Downs. I'd rather just keep Kupp.
Yeah, agreed.
JSN or Tank Dell at the flex.
No, I'll go JSN.
That's a toss-up for me, but I would slightly lean JSN. Start sit Wandale or Tolbert.
I think they're both good starts personally. I think obviously there's an argument if Malik doesn't play that you should start Wandale, but I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I think both guys should go good. I would say Wandale has proven it over the first 5 weeks, where Tolbert just had his first decent game, I would say.
Wandale's a safer floor, but the higher upside play is Tolbert, in my opinion. Monk Lord says, should I start Kraft or Mike Evans this week in the flex? This would be Mike Evans, but Lattimore isn't his head rent free, so it's not a crazy question. Reed or Metcalf? I'm going to start Metcalf tonight.
Yeah, these guys are close. Gosh, I have the results of my rankings here. I have Jaden Reed higher technically.
Okay. Look, I think it's fair, but they're just throwing the ball so much in Seattle, and Metcalf is always getting those targets. Jose with a super chat. I appreciate you, man. Purdy or Baker? Bengals or 49ers? This would be Baker for me with the way that he's on a roll right now, and then Bengals or 49ers. I have Walker going at the 49ers. Okay, so he has Ken Walker. Who does Cincinnati play this week? Your Giants.
The Giants.
I probably lean Cincinnati there. But man, how do you not play San Fran?
Yeah, I agree.
Sheesh, what do you think here? I feel like you're trying to like correlate here a bit. So
yeah, exactly. Like I'm gonna go with I hate starting a defense with a player. You're just gonna, like, when Ken Walker scores, you gain the 6 points and then you lose 3 to 4 points. So like you're not really helping yourself out at all. I would just go with the Bengals.
I actually think this is a really difficult question because, like, if you were just asking me, would you rather start the Niners or the Seahawks? I would say that, or the Niners or the Bengals. I would say the Niners.
Bengals, exactly.
I would just say the Niners.
So, I personally would maybe even think about picking up another defense if it's, if are the Texans defense out there?
Yeah, if the Texans, Eagles, Bears, Broncos, Colts at Tennessee, right?
Yep.
Bills at the Giants, or the Jets, sorry, the Falcons at the Panthers. Like, I'd rather play one of those names if you can, but if not, I don't want to overthink it and try and gigabrain myself here. I would just go Niners. I definitely get like the correlation. It's just, do you know what I mean?
I agree.
It's a tough one though, Jose. Safe and Sound here says, should I try and get Tolbert and drop Addison?
I would say Tolbert should be rostered, but I don't think Addison is somebody you should drop.
Yeah.
Like,
can't drop Addison.
The first people that come to mind is like, I don't know who you have on your roster, but I'm dropping like a Josh Palmer. I'm dropping. I mean, I doubt Jahan Dotson has been available on teams, but like,
think about it.
It has to be somebody else.
Think about it from this perspective. Next week he plays Detroit. You're going to want to start Jordan Addison where you have him. After that, he plays the Rams. You're going to want to start Jordan Addison. After that, he plays the Colts. You're going to want to start Jordan Addison. After that, he plays the Jaguars. You're going to want to play him against the Jaguars. So, to be honest, like, Addison's kind of a buy low right now, low key.
Yeah, I bought him.
I haven't really thought about this until now.
I bought him last week, saying that, that he should be somebody you should be targeting on the Fantasy Sports channel. But yeah, for me, Tolbert is somebody that should be rostered. Just depends on who you have on your roster. Safe. Just depends.
All right, we always try to answer some of the non-super chats. The first one that I can see in order that YouTube will let us see is how far up can I go here? Kutsawara, I think, says Leggett or Keenan. Who would you rather go this week, Leggett or Keenan?
I
think I'm putting Leggett out there. I just don't see any upside with Keenan.
Yeah, and Leggett's practicing again this week as well, which is kind of why I'm hesitant. I just think Leggett has a tougher matchup going against a secondary where Keenan doesn't. So I'm going to go Keenan.
I think that's fair.
It's really...
I mean, I just see another like 4 or 5 target game for him. I'm just like, All right, we got another question here. We said we stopped streaming at the top of the hour, so let's answer 3 more questions. Sean was the next one in order that was non-super chat. Start, sit, Olave, JSN, Marv, Terry, DJ Moore. Choose 5, please. Basically wants us to set his lineup. So If there's one,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's make it easier and say sit 2. And that would be Jameson Williams for me and JSN.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Ryan Andrews says trade Jefferson for Breece Hall. No, you got to keep Jefferson there. It's not close in my opinion.
Agreed.
Darnell Mooney or James Conner for the flex. I'm gonna go James Conner, but that's close.
I don't know, Mooney. My goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna go James Conner, but I think both of those guys should be started.
Yeah.
In your leagues, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, last one for today is from Marlon. Says, hey guys, should I trade Saquon and Chase and Ayuk for Tyreek, Kyren, Debo, and Diggs? Saquon,
Trade
Chase,
and Chase
and Ayuk.
and Ayuk.
Saquon, Chase, and Ayuk for Tyreek,
No,
Kyren, Debo, and Diggs.
no, I don't think I'm doing that.
No.
Oh, Kyren, Debo, and Diggs. Wait, you're getting 4? You're doing a
Yeah.
3v4?
Well, and it's not even like a cheap 3 for 4. It's a really valuable.
Yeah,
3
it's
for
not.
4.
It is a valuable 3 for 4. So Chase for Kyren.
To me, Ayuk and Debo cancel each other out. So I'm thinking about this as Saquon, Chase, or Tyreek,
Yeah, exactly.
Kyren,
Or
and
Kyren.
Diggs.
It's, especially with Nico going on IR, I feel like Diggs is going to be valuable. But when he comes back, I mean, he's still of value because we saw him what it looks like in the first half of the season with him.
Yeah, I mean, even with Nico, he's a wide receiver 8 so far this year.
Yeah, look, I think I might go with the players, but it's really close.
Yeah.
I'll go with the players if you need the depth, if you need other players, maybe you're struggling at the flex position.
When you say players, they're all players. So you mean like the bigger package here?
The bigger package, sorry. I'm going with the bigger group because in the context that I'm thinking about it, it's like if you need the depth, this is a start 11, a start 10. Maybe your flex option is Jacoby Myers and you can upgrade that for some reason. Sure, why not? But I would say if this is a smaller league, I want Saquon Barkley, Chase, and Ayuk.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Like, if you're telling me you're in like a 10-team start 7, I'm keeping Saquon and Chase. But if this is a 12-team start 8 or 9, I would flip my answer to the other side.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really tough question, but hopefully that is helpful. All right, guys. We're pretty much having to say this at the end of every stream, but we're at the point now where we're growing and it's absolutely incredible, but unfortunately it just means we can't end up answering everyone's questions. But we always tell you how you can get your question answered if you really need it, right? We don't want to force anyone to do anything, but we try to get to some of the normal questions. We do our best. But if you ever actually need something desperately answered, I mean, so many people comment, say, I need you. I need your help. If you need it, all right, instead of want it, it's available on the website at any time. So check that out. And last question today is from Jake. 6-point quarterback, Gino or Caleb playing DJ Moore and Swift 2. I'll go.
I'm going Gino.
You're going to go Gino?
I'm going Gino still. And it should be a high-scoring game, divisional game. I'm going based off matchup and the guy that's stolen the ball the most in the NFL so far.
Yeah, I'm going to start Caleb. But look, I just love the matchup for Caleb. I don't like this matchup that much for Gino. Jags are the best matchup for wide receivers. They're the best matchup for quarterbacks. They're a top 5 matchup for running backs. I think you're already going with the correlation here. You're already all in on the Bears. I'm going to ride with it there, personally.
The Bears.
Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. I will say good luck to anybody playing JSN. I can't promise he's going to do good, but the jersey came in today, so we got a good feeling. Should be a fun game. Obviously, there's going to be people who bust. Obviously, there's going to be people who go crazy. I mean, shoot, last week Kirk Cousins had 500 yards, which is absolutely mental. So
come on, baby.
Let's see what can happen. I hope whatever you need to happen happens for you. Appreciate you guys. All love. Enjoy your night.
Love.